One of the most painful symptoms in fibromyalgia is occipital pain or occipital neuralgia. If you're like me and you've had chronic migraines for years or decades, you know pain, right? We don't want to compare pain, but pain anywhere is bad. But when it's in your head, it's just a little different because this is the area where we think, we learn, we interact with the world around us, we express ourselves. It's challenging, right? So one of the areas in the head is these occipitals, right here behind your ears. I know I don't have to tell most of you, right? But what happens is we have these referral patterns, and it's like trigger points. They radiate pain. So here from the occipitals, it could be that it radiates up to under the eyebrow, could radiate to the sinuses. So you have this referral pain from the occipitals to the sinuses, occipitals up here. Sometimes you might just have a migraine at the same time. It could be the whole back of your head can feel sore. So even though our tender points are here, again, I call them tender areas because a lot of people complain about tenderness around the back of their head, especially if you have occipital neuralgia. So what do? In our protocols, we do a few different things. You want to avoid things like too much looking down on devices like your phone. Could be things like watching TV in bed. Be very careful if you're ever just having a really hard time. If you're in bed watching TV, that you got to make sure it's not affecting your occipitals and causing that referring pain. Another thing we do is we use a soft neck collar. So I'll put this on for about an hour at a time. I actually attach it in the front because I want the bigger part in the back. And when I have it on, it rests just under the occipitals. And every once in a while, I just lie my head back on it. Is it? I do this. I'll keep it on for about an hour if I'm sitting at my desk or doing something casual. And just put it back. Oh, it feels good. And you can just walk around with it for a little while. If you're having occipital pain, it just gives a little bit of hug, but not too much on the occipitals. Another thing we want to work on that we've had for years in our neck pain protocols, we want to work on restoring the natural curve of the neck. Very important for everybody with a body, a spine, and a neck, especially with fibro because this is such a sensitive area. So we use the Lumia Wellness, and you can use anything to lie back on, but it's just about lying back at least 10 minutes twice a day. And if you're like me and you have that occipital pain sometimes and it's straining from looking down, or maybe you're at your desk, whatever you're doing, maybe you have stress or tension going on that's exacerbating that, just get back. And I put this on my floor on a mat. I just have one of those thick mats in the other room, and I'll just put this on the mat because I find it's better on a really firm surface than using this on a bed. And you can use other things like a rolled up towel. This has some unique features though because it hugs the occipitals there. We just lie back on that. And this is about restoring the natural curve while supporting those occipitals or occipital pain or neuralgia. Very important. Again, this is one of the most I hate to compare, but one of the most painful areas in fibromyalgia. And there's a lot of referring patterns. It could affect your eyes, could affect your sinuses, your jaw. But the occipitals, a lot of times what we have in the back of the body can refer to the front. And the same if you just went all the way around. Same with IBS or lower back. Lower back a lot of times can affect and wrap around if you have inflammation in the eye joints in the lower back. It can wrap around to the front and cause inflammation or swelling in your abdomen. So a lot of times it correlates that way. But if you have occipital neuralgia, you're not alone. Just use some of these tools and techniques so the symptoms don't get worse and you feel more empowered. That's really the key.